World No Tobacco Day is always on May 31 of
Yes.
every year. When did this start and how did it kind of come about? Just in general.
It started in 1988. No? So this is a World Health Organization initiative, and it was started because at that time there was already an indication, a very strong indication that the tobacco epidemic would be growing
Yeah.
substantially, over the next decades. In the past century, we've had 100 million deaths globally from smoking.
Okay.
This century, if we don't do anything, we will end up with 1 billion deaths.
Deaths from smoking.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I was going to
It's-
ask you about the statistics.
Let me just give you the
Sure, go
statistics
ahead, go
really
ahead.
quick.
Uh-huh.
It's 5.4 million people who die every year from smoking or tobacco use. In the Philippines, it's 10 Filipinos every hour. So while we're doing this show, 10 Filipinos, that's more than 80,000 Filipinos every year. So it's a very big problem, no? And it's growing. Currently, about half of all adult males, Filipino males, smoke. Among women, it's about 10%.
Okay.
And among young people, it's about 17%, according to the latest
Are
surveys.
there more young people now that are smoking than, let's say, in the 80s
Yes.
or 90s? Yes?
We don't have surveys from the 80s and
Okay,
90s.
okay.
The Global Youth Tobacco Survey started in 2004, I believe, and then we had one in 2007, and then recently one in 2009. So the trend is that there is an increase in smoking among young people. So we're going to see this problem grow much bigger, which is why it's really urgent we do something.
And the campaign is to raise awareness. So, like, what do you hope to achieve with World No Tobacco Day? It's really to raise awareness and to, I have to say, you guys are really fun to be with, nice to talk to, very enjoyable. Because I want some people out there who may be smokers to also, to understand. I want to stress the point that you're not making enemies out of people who smoke. You're really not. You're just simply trying to inform us and help us.
Some of our best advocates are ex-smokers. So like you heard Emmer earlier,
Yes.
he's a really great advocate because he's been there.
Yeah.
Ako, I've never smoked, so I must confess also.
Oh, you're also
that
confessing
that,
here.
Yeah, that I've never smoked.
I
so
absolve
I cannot,
you with my left hand. That's I absolve
I
you.
can't really say I'm speaking from experience.
But then you have Emmer who is speaking from experience, and you also from the point of view of never having done it and seeing. Well, you're a doctor, you're a neuro-ophthalmologist, and you see you have treated people, you've helped, so you've seen the scientific side, and
Yep.
you're saying that also that you were stressing earlier that smoking is it's an addiction. So something physical happens when you smoke. No,
It's
earlier.
physical, psychological. It really hooks you in, and the tobacco industry knows this, and they really try to keep people smoking. Their campaigns are really driven towards recruiting young people so that they start smoking, and then keeping
Yeah, because
the
you're hooked
smokers.
already.
Yeah,
I have to say, okay, we can understand. Perhaps for me and some others who think like me, it's easier to understand the psychological addiction to smoking because, let's say, oh, I smoke when I write, or I smoke when I'm stressed. I smoke when I'm whatever. I smoke when I go to the bathroom. You hear those things, right? Oh, I feel like having a cigarette after I eat, or I'm discussing something important. Da 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 da. But can you also tell us some of the scientific or the physiological aspects of addiction in cigarettes? There are addictive substances, right? First and foremost, nicotine. What else is addictive in cigarettes?
Nicotine is really the main addictive substance. The other substances that are in tobacco, especially when they are burned, most of them are not. We don't know about they're not probably very addictive, but they're toxic,
Okay,
and they're
yes.
cancer causing. So, as far as we know, we've identified over 4,000
Over 4,000.
chemicals in tobacco smoke.
Okay.
Some studies will even say 6,000. And there are at least 60 of them that are cancer causing.
At least 60. And when you say addictive substances, it could range from something that just affects the flavor or the taste to...
No, so addiction means that you crave for it. You can't
Okay.
go without a certain substance. So
Okay.
earlier, Emmer was saying, you're addicted to smoking if in the
Yes.
first 5 minutes after you wake up,
You're looking for a cigarette.
You need to light
Yeah.
up because you've slept during the night. Your nicotine levels in your body have gone down,
Yeah.
and therefore your body is
I want
craving
to emphasize
it.
there's really something physical that happens
Yeah.
when you smoke. You are really addicted to, I mean, it's really an addiction. It's not just, because I think that if you make up your mind to not smoke, you will take steps to really quit. But what you were getting at earlier was that there are so many substances that they put in cigarettes and that we're not aware of, and they do it on purpose to really get us addicted. That's why it's so difficult to quit.
Yeah, some of the substances I was mentioning earlier, no? There's ammonia. God knows why they put ammonia.
I know.
Right?
I mean, ammonia, we use it to clean. We know it's toxic. But when you smell it, you inhale
but
too
it
much. you
helps
can feel-
release more nicotine, makes it more
Okay.
absorbable.
So that's their idea there. So
They
that,
put in
yeah.
sweeteners so that when you smoke, people for the first time when they smoke, they cough, right?
Yeah, it tastes-
because
yeah.
it's
You're
it's
like-
not really something
Yeah.
nice. It
Yeah.
irritates your throat. So there's sweeteners to make it more palatable. There's menthol to make it fresher. They've even put anesthetics so that you don't cough as much.
Anesthetics, they put it in cigarettes.
And then they also put appetite suppressants to keep you from eating.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those are what the models are like. I gotta
Exactly.
smoke so I can
I
stay
smoke
thin.
So I can stay thin, but it's actually not the smoking; it's the additive in the
I
cigarette.
see. Okay.
Of course, when you're smoking, you're stressed. You also don't eat, and there's a lot of that. So there are many things that we know that the tobacco industry has been putting into the cigarettes. We don't know all of them.
Yeah.
And this is one reason why we want to get cigarettes really more regulated. There's not a single pack in the world where we actually show the ingredients of in cigarettes.
Okay, let's get back to talking about regulation and cigarette packs, actual cigarette packs, when we return from this short break. Stay tuned.